Hi, this is Dale Guiducci with Home-Based Solar Sales, and I want to talk a little bit about the future of the solar industry. If you're in the industry, you know what's going on with it. You might be saying, "Well, wow, what is happening, and is this a good industry for me to be in at this particular point in time?" And certainly, if you're looking to get into the solar industry and you're just looking around and reading the stories, might cause you to pause and go, maybe I should stay doing what I'm doing or find something else to do differently. And I totally get that because it's made me look at the industry as well. So what do I mean by that? Well, two of the top companies in the industry, okay, Titan Solar and SunPower, two of the biggest installers in the country, decided to go out of business in not just 2024, but in the same month. That news kind of rocked the industry a little bit. Two of your biggest companies in the industry going out of business, right? That's not the biggest story, though. Okay, the biggest story is that there's a list of 60 companies, including Titan, including SunPower, that have gone out of business in 2023 and 2024. Now, these are companies that are smaller in size. Some are recognizable names if you know the industry, some are less so. But the bottom line is, what I want to talk about today is why 60 companies have gone out of business in the solar industry in the last couple of years. So the easiest thing to conclude, for somebody from the outside looking into the industry, is that the solar market's not that great. In other words, homeowners just aren't buying solar. Well, that's not really true. Has it slowed perhaps in the last couple of years? I believe it has, for sure. But homeowners are still buying solar. There is still a need or a want or a desire for homeowners to go solar, whether it's economic, environmental, or what have you. Another consideration is leadership in a company. In all 60 of those companies, did they have bad leadership? I don't believe that. Okay, I don't believe that's likely, right? But I do believe that companies in this market, is that the best thing that we can do right now? Or do we need to change? Do we need to revolutionize? Do we need to do things a little bit differently? And the answer is yes. Okay, the answer is yes. And I'm going to get to that a little bit later in the video. But the number one problem that all solar companies are facing is interest rates. Interest rates, higher interest rates. If there's any one factor that has slowed business over the last couple of years, it's the higher interest rates. We're at an 8.5% prime right now, which is far higher than it was just 24 and 36 months ago. So what that does, of course, if you're in the industry, is that homeowners have to pay more. Okay, we can certainly buy down that interest rate with dealer fees down to 2.99 or 2.99 and 3.99%, things like that. But even if you're doing same as cash financing, it's more expensive than it was. So we've got that issue to contend with. And so where a few years ago you could just sell on a payment swap, like, okay, your bill right now, Mr. Homeowner, is $180. I can get you started in solar with nothing out of your pocket and at $155. Well, nobody in their right mind would pass that deal down, right? They're saving $25 out the gate and are going to save more as utility rates rise. That was an easy sale. Now we've got to sell more on the features and benefits of solar, as it is a system to replace electrical energy, and you have more control and things like that, even though a homeowner might in some cases have to pay more per month for solar and their continued utility bill than they're currently paying on the utility bill now. So we have to sell solar a little bit differently, and then yes, the homeowner can save in the future as utility rates go up. That's a different way of selling. So if somebody is not selling in that manner, they're not selling the features and benefits of solar, and talking to the homeowner about their desire and why they want to go solar, then they're really missing it there. If they're still trying to sell on a payment swap, it's really hurting their sales. So we've got to sell it a little bit differently now, but it's certainly because of interest rates. Now, interest rates are hurting the solar industry in another way that salespeople don't really necessarily think about, but people that own solar installation companies think about it daily. And that is the cost of getting their hands on money to procure equipment, to pay labor, to pay commissions, things like that, right? So solar companies, especially smaller ones, don't have this big cache of money in banks and so forth. They've got to work on lines of credit. Okay, because not all the time do they need that money. As their company is expanding, they've got to grab some money. They've got to pay those, again, equipment costs and commissions and labor to get the installations done, and then when they get paid from the financier, they can pay that credit line down. Well, that credit line, that cost of money is a lot more expensive today than it was just a few years ago. And you might say, well, the difference between, like, say maybe 3% and, I don't know what a credit line would cost an installation company right now, 10%, 11%. The difference might not sound that dramatic, but it's 2 and 3 times the cost of money that they were paying before, and it makes a huge difference. Now, by the way, if you like the information you're getting from home-based solar sales from me, you find this to be of value, obviously, I would love it if you would subscribe, hit the like button, and I'm going to put a link to this video in an article on a page on my website, and that page is going to be listed below. So if you want to go read, if you like to read a little bit more than watch videos, then go ahead and click that link and go over and read the article, but this video will be right in the middle of that article. So here's another factor. Financiers, okay, finance companies are holding on to funds just a little bit longer. So again, a few years ago, it was quite traditional to get paid, M1 pay right after the site survey, and then the rest of your money at M2 when the system got installed. Well, financiers are trying to hold on to their money just a little bit longer. What does that do? Obviously, it creates even a bigger pinch for the solar installation company. They're not getting their money as soon as they were. They've got bills to pay. The interest rate is higher on the money that they're borrowing to pay those bills. So they've got to pay more interest because they're not getting their money quite as quickly. And then for those that are selling solar, of course, maybe you're not getting your money as quickly as well. Now, that's not in all cases. Not all financiers are holding to PTO, but some are, and companies are leaning in that direction. And that's another thing that's impacting the ability of solar companies to stay in business. We got to talk about another player in the solar game, and that's the utility companies, right? So utility companies have got to be taking a look at the economics of their business, but also solar, and say, you know what, maybe there's some changes that we can make to the policies that we are currently using for solar and make things a little bit better for us. Okay, what I mean by that, and the biggest example of that, is the switch from California from NEM 2.0 to NEM 3.0 last year. The California Public Utility Commission got together with SDG&E, Southern California Edison, and PG&E, and they decided, you know what? Right now, NEM 2.0, these homeowners, we give them carte blanche. They can go out and build 130, 140, 150% offset and send all this excess energy during the day to us, and we have to pay them retail. And so homeowners it was like a money-making machine. And solar wasn't intended to be a money-making machine. Solar was intended to be a money savings machine and also save the traffic on the grid. Well, it wasn't doing that either because there was more energy, there was more traffic on the grid with all this energy being pushed out during the day, and then homeowners weren't getting batteries. They didn't need to because they were getting all these credits to offset the energy they were paying, they were buying at night. So now you had all this energy coming back at night. It was actually creating more traffic on the grid than less. So they changed it, didn't they? NEM 3.0, much less reimbursement rate, on average about 7.5 cents a kilowatt hour, depending on the time of the day, things like that, but a lot less than retail, okay? Now, personally, and some of you aren't going to like this at all, and that's okay, you can go ahead and comment in the chat for sure, but I think it was a good move. I do. I mean, if you think about any business, right? Let's think about the utility company as a business. Any business that is going to buy at retail, in this case from the homeowner, and then sell it at retail, buying and selling for the same price makes you no money. Okay, nobody, and even you, even if you're angry with me right now, if you are thinking about a business, or you own a business or want to own a business, or you just think about how businesses operate, they don't buy for the same price that they sell. It's not a good deal for the utility companies, right? So that was a good move. But again, what it also did is it alleviated traffic on the grid. Why? Because instead of homeowners sending all this excess energy out to the grid during the day, right? So you have less traffic. What are they going to do? They are going to now put it into a consumption battery and store that. So at night, that battery will run the house. So now you don't have this energy going back and forth. I think California made a good move. Again, you could tell me I'm wrong down at the bottom. Now, what it did, though, is it disrupted the industry out there. There was chaos in California in the solar industry for and to some degrees, I think we're coming out of it, but still is. So they had a grandfather period. So when this announcement was made, anybody that was considering solar wanted to go solar now. What did that do? Well, it disrupted the industry in that solar installation companies, that now they were backlogged, right? Trying to get equipment, trying to get crews out to do the installations. But also in the interim, you've got building departments that were getting inundated, right? So it was longer to get permits. Okay, even if you could get the install, now the utility company was inundated, trying to get them out to do inspection to get to PTO. It delayed things. And if you look at reviews on California installation companies, EPCs out there, the reviews in 2023 are horrible. And not all the time, sometimes, but not all the time, is it the fault of the installation company. You know, it took me 9 months to get my solar. Well, you're lucky you got in under NEM 2.0. I know they don't know that necessarily or recognize that, but a lot of homeowner complaints out of the length of time that it took to do the installation in California. I believe that other utility commissions around the country, other utility companies around the country are going to take a snapshot of California after a bit, right? And I think maybe start doing that. And they are going to start adopting some very, very similar policies. I think those of us in solar need to be ready for net metering, one-to-one net metering going away. I live in Florida. If it's selling in Florida, we have one-to-one net metering with our public utility companies. That may be going away. I think it's a smart thing for utility companies to do that, right? And for us to go more on the consumption battery route, which I think is still a great solution for the homeowner. So that's, I believe, going to need to be a change in the industry. But certainly, I think utility companies are feeling the pinch, and they are going to adopt some things. They are going to make some changes as well. And in some cases, they already have to offset these higher interest rates and the market conditions currently. So the impact of higher interest rates and utility company changes and potential changes, those are huge factors when considering the health of solar installation companies and the future health of existing solar installation companies. But what is the future? What is the future? Where do we go from here? Well, Home-Based Solar Sales, we represent a solar dealer called Reach Solar. Reach Solar is a relatively new company. This company was built upon some new philosophies, some new outlooks on the solar industry. In other words, instead of becoming just a traditional solar dealer, a solar sales company, they looked at how it could be different. They looked at the landscape of the solar industry moving forward and said, what do we need to do to be successful, be competitive? How do we change this industry for the better? I think a new company coming into business now, first of all, probably a bad decision if they are going to do things the old tried and true traditional solar industry way. So one of the things that a new solar dealer coming into the industry might do is decide to work with a national dealer, a big national company, give them a footprint around the country right away. Bad idea. Bad idea. Two of the biggest companies just went out of business. There's very few of them around, and I believe the ones that, like Freedom Forever is an example, that are trying to expand in a contracting economic market, it's very difficult. In fact, Freedom Forever, we worked directly with them. I worked directly with them for a period of time, and they used to do a whole lot better job with install times, customer satisfaction, things like that than they are right now. I believe that they're feeling the pinch in trying to be able to expand, do more business in a constricting market when their cost of money is greater, and other factors as well, and interest rates and things like that for the homeowner. So probably not a good idea. So what we've done at Reach Solar is we decided to work with small regional companies. We've vetted these companies. We have looked at things like install times, right? You work with a large national installer, their install times are not always great. In some cities they might be, in some cities not so much. With a small regional installer, we are going to get better install times. They know the utility companies, they know the building departments. Some of these smaller companies take steps going into the deal and work with their sales reps to procure the right documentation so they can get to permit really fast. So shorter install times. We also looked at the fact that we wanted good communication with these companies. Again, working with the larger installation companies, you don't always have great communication back and forth on the deals for your salespeople. We wanted great communication. That was another factor for us. Another factor for us was the fact that they had good reviews online. Like, we wanted to make sure that if we said, hey, we're going to use X company to install your system, that when they looked them up online, they could see an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. They could see very few complaints over the last 3 years. They could go to Google reviews and see 4.5, 4.7, 4.9 out of 5 star reviews. We wanted to work with the best regional companies in and around the country. So we've done that. Anywhere from the state of Washington down to Arizona, over to Florida, and up to Maine, we are working with the best regional, at least as far as we have determined, the best regional companies. Now, why is that helpful, other than what I've already said about better reviews and quicker install times and so forth? Because if one of those companies has financial trouble and they decide they need to pull back or they need to go out of business, not a problem. We will find another regional company in that area. Now, will it affect our business in that state or that region for a couple of weeks until we pivot? Yeah, but it's not going to affect our national business. We're selling in 39 states right now, 38 states in Washington, D.C., as of the filming of this video, and that's expanding because we can expand by bringing on a regional installer in the states that we are not currently installing. So we will be expanding that. And again, if one of those installers that might affect 1 state, 2 states, 3 states, they go out of business, we just find another regional installer to replace them. So we have the ability, we're nimble, we can pivot quickly with regard to that issue. Well, you might say, well, Dale, I work with a regional installer right now. I work with maybe one of the companies that you're representing out there. Okay, that's true. But what if that company goes out of business? You're out of business, right? With our company, again, we will help you pivot and bring in another installer. Also, with our company, you get to sell in other states and work with different installers. So you get to expand your market. But here's the key. Even if you work with that regional installer that we work, or a different regional installer in the area that we're in, right? And you want to take a look at that with regard to what we're doing. Keep in mind, we're going to be able to negotiate a better baseline, or what you might call a red line PPW. We're going to be able to negotiate a better number than you are, right? Because you're one person, or maybe you're one person with a small team. We are not one person. We have thousands of people around the country and some of the top salespeople in the industry working with our company right now. So when we go talk to a regional installer, we are going to be able to bring a lot more deals to the table for them, and it gives us leverage to negotiate a PPW. So theoretically, you're going to be able to make more money with us, and again, insulate yourself. If that regional installer goes out of business, we are going to pivot, and you don't have to go through all of that and find another company to work for. We're going to find that company for you, because we're going to use our vetting process to go out and procure another regional installer. Another factor in working with Reach Solar, okay, and again, I'm talking about things that we're doing differently than traditional solar sales companies, right? I talked about working with regional installers all over the country, but another thing is we are building some phenomenal technology. Our back end system, our sales and project tracking system is second to none in the industry. We have some of the top minds in solar that have come to Reach and consulted with us and said, this is what you need to be the very best solar sales company in the country. And we're building it right now at Reach Solar. So we've got some tremendous technology without question that we can bring to the table so that you can see your business, so you can track your business. And the other factor with that is building a team. So if you want to just sell on your own, you can sell on your own with Reach Solar. But just understand, we give you the opportunity to build a team and get paid on each and every sale that that team does. And that's huge because if you're, again, you're working with a regional company, you're working with any solar company, and something happens. You get sick. You want to take time off. That company goes out of business. They don't like you anymore. They get rid of you. You're out of business. With us, it's not that way. You can, again, develop a team, have residual income. We're going to train them. The company trains your people. I mean, you may even be able to bring in trained solar people, but of course, we need to indoctrinate them into our system and teach them how to work with the new installation company, etc. We're going to take care of all of that. All you got to do is worry about bringing people into Reach and going out and making sales. And if you decide to stop selling for whatever reason, vacation, sickness, just because you want to stop selling, you're still going to be able to get overrides on your team's sales. And it's going to help you develop a solar business versus just have a solar sales job. The other thing is that we sell virtually. We sell virtually. We do Zooms, right? And we meet homeowners via Zoom. It allows us not only to expand our territory into multiple states, and this is another thing I think solar companies are going to have to do. The future of selling solar is not door knocking, and it's not going into people's homes. Listen, every other industry in the world has stopped doing that, right? Solar sales are going to be done differently in the future. They are being done differently in the future, and we're leading the charge to that, right? You don't have to drive to every single appointment. You don't have to go knock on doors to get leads, right? You don't have to put that time and energy and money into your business. You're basically working out of your house. You can do so many more appointments every day and every week. Your close ratio will be higher. You're going to be talking to more people. It's phenomenal, right? Now, for those of you that have never done it, you might feel uncomfortable. I'm not sure why, because talking to people via Zoom is just as if you're talking to them in their living room. You just can't touch them. That's the only thing that changes. You can't reach out and touch your homeowner, which you shouldn't be doing anyway. So personally, I believe that we are in a period of time in the solar industry where it's a slowdown. It's a time for solar companies to look at what they're doing, and if they can, if they have the foresight, if they're nimble, if they can pivot quickly, they need to. They need to change in most cases, depending on what the company's currently doing. They need to change what they're doing. Trying to get through this and then come out the other side and be successful in a very old and tired traditional solar sales model is like banging your head up against the wall. It's no doubt that 60 companies have gone out of business in the last couple of years. Companies absolutely need to change what they're doing. I believe that the solar industry has a very, very bright future, right? Technological advances are going to make solar panels and solar equipment much more effective, much more efficient as time goes on, and bring the cost down for homeowners. Homeowners have, in general, a much greater environmental consciousness than even just a couple of years ago. I remember being in most of the consultations and presentations that I were doing with customers, and it was always about saving money, saving money, saving money, saving money. Now when I ask them about why, and I give them choices, is it about saving money? Is it about being able to have more access to more power so you could do things without worrying about your utility bill, or is it about maybe benefiting the environment? I'm going to tell you a very high percentage of them add that environmental factor in. So I think that environmental consciousness is going to continue to grow, and that's going to help our market as well. Another great factor about solar is that government incentives are not going to go away anytime soon. In fact, I think states are becoming more aware of their own policies towards the environment and policies towards solar, and they are becoming more favorable as well. I mean, some states already have great SRECs and state tax credits and things like that, but more and more states are going to pay attention to that. So we've got the backing of the federal government. And no matter what, the cost of a kilowatt hour of electricity from the utility company is going to go up and up and up and up. It's never going to come down. And with solar, we can put people into a solar system and give them a fixed cost of kilowatt hour and keep that cost fixed for the next 25 plus years. That factor is not going to go away regardless of economic times. So that's something we can always fall back on. But I still think solar companies, solar dealers have to look at their business and have to adapt. And I believe that Reach Solar, more than any other company out there right now, is looking to the future, and they're looking at ways to change the way solar has been sold for the last 20 years, 30 years, certainly, to be able to give us the opportunity to not only be successful as a company, but be successful as individual sales reps and provide futures beyond just selling solar. In other words, helping people understand how to build their own solar business within Reach. So if you want to learn more about Reach Solar, definitely go to the link down the bottom to my website, the link to the page where this video is going to be located on this page. So you can click that and you can go read more about Reach. You'll also have an opportunity, if you would like to book a Zoom call with me to ask questions about Reach and so forth, you'll be able to do that. I'm also going to post a link to a page on my website, Solar Sales from Home, so you can watch a detailed business overview about Reach Solar so that you understand all the details before booking that appointment with me, and we'll be able to spend some time and talk, get to know each other, and again, get your questions answered. So thanks for being here again. Subscribe, click the like button. I'd really appreciate it. We'll see you all again real soon.